You could also call this episode the Gamescom Special, because obviously we got a ton of super cool gaming news, updates, and brand new reveals. While the last few updates were mostly misses, Path of Exile 2 decided to change things up. Because the next patch sounds like the massive change everyone has been waiting for. We finally get the fourth of 6 story acts, accompanied by 3 interlude acts. So technically speaking, you now don't have to complete the story twice, but 1.5 times. Progress. But jokes aside, these new acts include 35 new areas with 24 new bosses. Also directly translating to the endgame, where 25 additional maps are being added. Map and story size aside, the developers also casually overhauled almost the entire combat system to make it more fun and diverse. Sounds like a marvelous idea if you asked us. The support gem system now allows multiple copies of the same support gems to be used on different skills. Simultaneously, 40 lineage supports are being added, powerful gems that drop from specific bosses, offering unique effects that can completely change how your skills work. Many skills across all classes are being buffed and adjusted to improve balance and make more builds viable. The passive skill tree gains over 150 new notable skills, with around 20 per class, adding even more depth and variety to character builds. Map traversal has gotten easier, as holding down the dodge roll button now allows you to sprint. This is best used out of combat, as getting hit while sprinting knocks you down, so be careful. And finally, we get in-game asynchronous trading that lets players buy items from others without the seller being online, which is a huge step up from getting scammed in a direct trade after visiting countless third-party websites. Finally, the first PoE 2 league is being added, themed around abyssal fissures that spawn hellish creatures. However, in order to play a league, you have to create a new character. The update will go live on August 29th, alongside a free-to-play weekend. So if you have always wanted to test out the game, now is your time. Enshrouded is getting its next big update this October, Patch 7 Wake of the Water. And they're finally introducing the long-anticipated water biome and everything else H2O. The expansion brings swimming, diving, and even fishing to the Ember Whale. We will be able to explore rivers, lakes, coastal zones, and even hidden underwater caves. We especially like those stacked treasure chests filled to the brim with gold coins. Hopefully, these won't be guarded too much by the new aquatic reptilian-looking enemies. The base building is also getting even better, as we can now play around with water features like ponds, pools, and fountains. Imagine if we could also get a surfboard. That would be so cool. We're definitely also gonna build a new base in this tropical new water biome. It looks gorgeous and kinda untouched by the Shroud. Introducing flowing water into voxel-based terrain seemed to have been one of the big challenges for this update. Previously, the developers have talked about static or semi-dynamic water visuals to maintain performance. But the trailer showed water breaking through a wall, so the developers have definitely found a way to integrate dynamic flow, and we are excited to see it in action. Cult of the Lamb is getting its largest expansion yet, with the Woolhaven DLC. The DLC takes the Lamb to a new icy, mountainous region. Here, the story focuses on redeeming lost souls and rebuilding Woolhaven, the ancestral home of Lambkind. Players will face blizzards, frostbite, and famine, adding survival mechanics to cult management. New structures and rituals are designed to keep followers alive in the harsh winter. A ranching system introduces rare beasts, like bison-like creatures, which may tie into resources or follower tasks. The developers have described Woolhaven as their biggest content pack yet, with more features still to be revealed ahead of release. It's set to launch in early 2026 across all major platforms. On September 10th, Dune Awakening Chapter 2 is arriving, bringing both free and paid content in form of the Lost Harvest DLC. The free content is mainly the continuation of the main questline, looking deeper into your character's origin and your enemies' schemes. Also free are new contracts, which are smaller missions, the newly added dynamic encounter events in the desert, as well as new hairstyles and tattoos. And if you'd like to try them out on your avatar, you can do so now at the newly added recustomization NPCs. The DLC costs $12.99 if purchased separately, but it's probably a better deal to buy the Season Pass instead, which includes this DLC and 2 more future ones. In Lost Harvest, you'll get a new vehicle, the Treadwheel, 3 Imperial testing stations, which are dungeons basically, a new journey, as well as a couple of cosmetic items for your character and your base. And if you wanted to try Dune out for yourself, a limited time free trial is available now until August 24th on Steam. Valheim got its newest update titled Call to Arms, but for now it's only on the test servers. Still, anyone can try it out, and not only the latest trailer made us want to reinstall right away, but the new content did as well. If you've always felt like the combat felt too static or punishing when compared to other RPGs, that's a thing of the past. We got a new resource called Adrenaline that is gained by hitting enemies. It allows us to either cast strong magical spells or perform a perfect dodge roll or perfect block. A full adrenaline bar also triggers an adrenaline surge, which grants temporary buffs based on which trinket you have equipped. Those are new equipment pieces with 13 unique effects. The Forsaken powers, the ones you get from defeating the big bosses like Bone Mass, have also been reworked to be used more as active abilities rather than passive buffs. Besides that, we've got 2 new enemy types and armors based on those. A new undisclosed location has been added too, that we really know nothing about yet, as well as a training dummy and wooden weapons for sparring with friends. Also, I just noticed that Valheim is still in early access, and it felt like a millennia ago when we first played it. And then the Steam page said released in 2021, and I was like, huh? Hasn't this been around for forever? So weird. Mistfall Hunter is an upcoming PvPvE extraction RPG. And before you jump here, let me tell you, if you're a bit tired of extraction mechanics, we can relate, believe us. But still, this game has that certain dark fantasy aesthetic, almost giving a bit of Dark Souls vibes, that we still found pretty interesting. Although we're not too big into extraction either, the world building and monster designs look really cool. You choose one of the 5 classes that every RPG fan will feel right at home with, including a rogue archetype or a sorcerer. You can chain combos, hit enemies' weak points, and even play into synergies with your teammates. If you choose to play the 3-player squad mode, that is. Otherwise, there's a solo queue as well. They've just now added female characters for each of the 5 classes, as before, believe it or not, it was actually a full male roster. If you like games like these, you can now sign up for the next closed beta test in September on Steam. The game does not have a release date yet, but is expected for 2025. And it's not gonna be free to play, but buy to play instead, with more features planned for later, like a ranked leaderboard. Your favorite section of this news format is finally here, the cute and cozy games. What do you mean that's not true? You don't have to act all cool now, we're all friends here after all. But jokes aside, the upcoming live sim Star Sand Island has finally revealed more gameplay details during Gamescom. They showcased more of the character customization, but the highlight was definitely the pet system. You can interact with your pets and dress them up in costumes. Fish can be displayed in customizable aquarium tanks. We also saw more glimpses of the live sim aspects, including a gaming arcade that has a capybara snake game, but also more ways to get around the island on mounts and rafts. There will even be a customizable houseboat with water slides and everything. The game's release has been delayed from winter 2025 to spring 2026, and I am more than ready for it. Another brand new reveal from Gamescom that was a tiny highlight for me was Witchspire, a game that's not only about surprise, witches and wizards and their magical abilities, but also has survival crafting mechanics with a projection-based house building system. And of course, we will have a broom to fly on and some RPG factors too, like character customization and costumes. Another big part are creatures that can become familiars, helping us in combat and with housing tasks. And if you're a big fan of creature collecting too, you'll be pleased to hear that they can be leveled up, will have unique and rare variants that you can go look for in different biomes. So far, we only have an animated trailer and a few screenshots, but that trailer already suggested that the world is not just a joyful, cozy one, but also filled with darkness and dangers. One part of the announcement also suggests deeper survival mechanics, as it says, "If you see a comet hurling through the sky, we suggest running." This could well be a hint to an invasion system or bigger impact onto the world. So far, we also know that it will have co-op, probably for up to 4 players, as that's the number of witches and wizards shown in the animation, but maybe even more. The dev team has announced that more info and details, including actual gameplay footage, is coming in the next month. And of course, we'll be there to keep you updated. A few weeks ago, we talked about Wolcen Studios' new extraction RPG, Project Pantheon. Now it has been rebranded to Gods, Death and Reapers. You can now sign up for the closed beta on Steam. But the best news about this game is that they are adding a pure co-op PvE mode, without any of the PvP threats. Now you can only curse your friends if they take your loot. No friendly fire. What a nightmare! You might just go back to PvPvE now, right? Lost Ark has added their newest and shiniest class to the game, the Valkyrie. While technically the female counterpart to the Paladin, she has a different playstyle. While Paladins are focused on healing and damage reduction, Valkyries have more situational support skills. New and returning players get a power pass for free, and there are multiple events to help you level up faster. Delta Force is now available on PS5 and Xbox, with flexible crossplay between consoles, PC and mobile? When did this launch on mobile? Anyway, if you were waiting for this, you can now play the classic Black Hawk Down co-op campaign, as well as the large-scale multiplayer PvP modes with friends. The game is free to play, with a good old Battle Pass and Friends available. In late September, we are not only getting Title Update 3 in Monster Hunter Wilds, but also the next round of collaborations. This one is our absolute favorite one yet though, as it's a collab with Final Fantasy XIV. We're getting the adorable Chocobos as mounts, as well as a new monster, Omega Planetus. Then, in October, FF14 players are getting Sacred Mounts and Palicos in return, alongside with Arcveld. Did you know that Fallout 76 takes place in the year 2102? Hard to believe with a building menu like that, right? The devs must have thought the same and finally updated the whole camp interface to match the timeline. All items are now properly grouped, and the best part? They got rid of almost any building restrictions, allowing you to build wherever and however you want. So maybe it's a spider, hell no, obsidian. Literally anything would be better. That's literally what I said in our Grounded 2 review, but here we are. Thanks, Obsidian. So Grounded 2 is adding Axel, a freaking story-high tarantula boss. Again, thanks, Obsidian. Next! If you are a fan of Stardew Valley or Core Keeper, Vexlands might be something worth checking out next. This mixture of classic board games and crafting adventure was originally single-player only, but just announced their plans to add couch co-op next year. If you want to have a glimpse at the current state, there is a demo available on Steam. And while we are at the topic of Stardew Valley, a surprising collab is on the horizon. No, not Aston Martin, whoever had that idea for Zenless Zone Zero, but Infinity Nikki. And while we are not yet sure what to do with all those fancy dresses on our farm in Stardew, we know for sure that Nikki will have plenty of use for farming related content in the upcoming housing system update. But jokes aside, we doubt that there will be content for Stardew Valley, although I would have really loved some cute pixel gowns. Since there is no more room in hell, the developers added an option to respawn. Bad puns aside, no more room in hell just got a lot more accessible, adding not only a respawn option, but also more difficulties such as casual, while making harder difficulties more spicy. They also improved matchmaking to stay mostly within your difficulty range. Fragpunk added not one, but 2 new heroes. Nightingale answers a question no one had. What if I combined a Silent Hill nurse with Edward Scissorhands? Actually, you know what? A creepy Halloween mode for this game would be awesome. But if you are afraid of syringes or loony characters in general, Ixkull might be more down your alley. This Amazon fighter brings her own gladiator cage and spear to battle. Both are playable right now. After the first Descendant added Mercy, Serena, Superwife now added Mercy too, with 2 additional letters and a free witch skin on top. But for real, why is every game adding a Mercy lookalike? Mercury is a controller and launched alongside map overhauls, armory features, and a ton of balancing and quality of life changes. In preparation for the launch of Dying Light the Beast, Techland wants to remind you how cool their franchise was before Dying Light 2 happened. So if you haven't played part 1 since it launched over 10 years ago, you can now play it for free this weekend. But that's all for this week. We hope you're having a fun game to play right now with your favorite people. Or otherwise, maybe check out our new monthly releases video. And we'll see you again in the next one.